Hello everyone, welcome to Christina's Knitting Catch-Up. This is episode 26 and today is Sunday the 31st of January, last day of January. I'm Christina. You can find me on Ravelry as Chrisar and on Instagram as Cutiful Christina. My blog is also Cutiful Christina, but I don't post there all that much. And where else? I guess you've already found me on YouTube, so that's nice. We have a Ravelry group, which is just Christina's Knitting Catch-Up, where you can look at the show notes if there are any, and whatever other chatter is going on there, which is really nice. Just to start off with, I thought I'd mention that we have a knit-along starting tomorrow. And I welcome you all to join in that. There will be prizes, although I haven't got them down here, but there will be prizes. And the theme of the knit-along is to knit something from yarn that's been in your stash for a while. So if the yarn's been there for more than 6 months, it's fair game, and you can use that for the knit-along. So I'm going to use this Barocco folio yarn. I'm still not quite decided on what exactly I'm going to make because I'd like to make one of those lovely kind of tam hats that have those lovely circular patterns up to the crown. But I also don't think that they suit me, so maybe I won't do that. What have I done here? I'm knitting on socks right now, as you can tell, but I'll talk about that later. So yeah, that's the knit along, and the rule is it's got to use about one skein. I'm not allowing any super duper tiny projects that you could whip up in 5 minutes, and you are allowed to do more than one. So everybody get your stuff ready and cast on. We have a chatter thread where you can talk about what you're doing and what your plans are, and if you have any massive fails or anything, I'd love to hear about it because they're always fun to commiserate together. And we have a finished objects thread as well where you can post your finished objects, obviously. And I don't think we should have chatter on that just so that it's easier for me to generate a winner. But feel free to press the love button as much as you want, like I always do. Okay, so that's the knit along happening, and that's happening tomorrow, 1st of February, Monday. Also tomorrow, my Etsy shop is opening, and I'm going to be selling hand-dyed yarns that I've been doing. Sorry, I'm hot. I suppose it is summer, and I am wearing an alpaca and wool cardigan. So I've shown you these weeks ago, but these are some of the yarns that are going to be sold in the shop. This one, and I asked you last week whether you thought I should sell mini skeins individually or as a pack, and more people said as a pack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think 6 is a good number for mini skeins. These are ones I dyed up with my friend last weekend, and she took home 4 and I kept 6. And she sent me a photo of what she did with hers. She actually made some really cool mitts with fingers, which I've never made. I think she's amazing. And they look incredible. They're like there's just a party on her hands, which is just awesome. And I think she only used 4. I could see that she used 3 and a bit. So with 6, you could probably make a pair of socks if they aren't too long, or maybe a hat, something like that. So yeah, they're my first little set of mini skeins. I'm going to dye up some more mini skeins today. Excuse me. Oh, just grabbing the wool that is all ready, prepped and ready to go. So I've got 6 50-gram skeins there. The wool obviously comes, not obvious, it's not obvious. The wool comes in 100-gram skeins, and I wound them off into 50-gram skeins. So there's 300 grams there, and I'll dye them up, and I will have 5 packs of 6 mini skeins of 10 grams each. So There you go. And yesterday I did some dyeing. I made my first ever speckled yarns, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see them there. I'll show you. They're still a tiny bit wet, so they're not skeined up yet. Here's, well, it's not coming out very well on camera. It looks a bit more yellow. So in real life, it's more of a peachy colour, peachy orange, and we've got reddish and yellowish speckles on there. So when that's dry, that'll be lovely. I've got, sorry to turn my back, I've got a pink one. It's really coming out very washed out. Strange. A pink one with, again, pink, yellow and purple speckles. That's more like the colour. It's kind of a variegated pink. The dye took up more in some areas than others, which gives a really nice effect, I think. And lastly, my most tangled one is the blue, and this has the dark purple and blue speckles. And again, it's washing it out a little bit. But that was really fun to make. I super duper enjoyed that, so that was awesome. So once they're dry and skeined up, I will put them up in the Etsy shop too. I thought I'd open it at 8 o'clock tomorrow night here. That's Canberra time, Eastern Standard Time, here in Australia. That gives me most of the day to think about things. And the shop name is Cutiful Yarns, so you can find it, I think it's at cutifulyarns.etsy.com or whatever. You can just search for it. And I'll put it in the show notes, of course, and everywhere else that you can find me. So that's really exciting to be opening that shop. I haven't actually knit with any of my yarns yet. I know that sounds a bit bad, but it's because I've had so many other yarns to knit with that I want to get through them before I start using my stuff. So that's the thing. Okay, I've got 2 finished things to show you. Onto the knitting, this is. So, you saw these in progress last week, and then I finished them at the coast. These are just very normal socks. They haven't been blocked, but I don't tend to block my socks really. I just wear them and then I wash them and then they block themselves. So these were made out of leftover yarn from when I made my husband's socks at Christmas, and I put a cute photo up on Instagram of us both wearing our socks made out of this. His socks match all the way down and mine very don't. So I think it almost, see, I had to use 2 bits of the yarn for one of the socks, so like if you look at the top half, that matches up, but we've got this extra bit, but down the bottom, yeah, like from here down, doesn't match, which I'm fine with because they're my socks and I like them. So I love how the Knitmore girls, you know the Knitmore girls, the audio podcast, they give out permission slips, and I think that I'm going to give you a permission slip to have mismatching socks because they're awesome and they're yours. So I finished them, but you saw them, they were half done last time. I think they were nearly done. And then the other day I finished these guys, these bad boys. These ones I made with about 4 stitches less up to the heel, and then I increased for the cuff. I'm not sure if I like it. It's fine. I've been wearing them most of today. But yeah, so these also don't match, and you can see that I used the last bit of yarn from these socks just at the toe, and then I changed. Now these, I guess, have 3 different yarns in them. They're scrappy socks, so this is this. This and this and this is this kind of camo print yarn that I bought in America that is a Regia sock yarn. It's not Arnie and Carlos though, so the pattern doesn't look nearly as cool. And they're socks that were mine. I have them upstairs in my drawer, and they were a pair of my left and right socks that I did. I'm wearing a pair of them now, not the same ones, and they feel okay. So I'm undecided whether the same socks or left and right socks work better for me. Excuse me. But maybe it doesn't make a difference, and that's fine. So that's that yarn. And this one, the kind of lighter green and pink, is an Arnie and Carlos Regia yarn that I made my mother-in-law's socks out of. And they don't match, and that's fine. And I was wearing them yesterday, and I was feeling like a total boss. So those are my two finished pairs of socks. So I'm knitting all the socks. I'm knitting all the socks because there's a competition on in the Knitting Expats Ravelry group called the January Sockathon, and it's all about who can knit the most socks in January. Clearly she can, Mina, because she's knit like 30 already, and it's just crazy. So what I'm currently knitting on is my 5th pair. I brought out all my other ones to show you as well. And these are made from, oh my goodness, it's hard to knit with black yarn. I get dropped stitches all over the place. These are made with leftovers from my mother's Christmas socks, and which is Regia yarn, and the black, these are the heels. The black contrast is just Knit Picks Stroll. I do like Knit Picks Stroll, it's lovely. And these do match. So this is probably the only pair that I've... All right, sorry about that. Speak of the devil, that was my mum on the phone. I had a few people round for tea last night, for dinner last night, and yesterday afternoon I had to ring up mum and say, how do you make an apple crumble? Turns out it's really easy to make an apple crumble, but I've never made one before, and she just told me, and she was ringing to see how my apple crumble went. So, so here's my sockies, my 5th pair of socks for January, for the year I guess, and these have ended up matching, which is great. And I'm just going to do a little bit of black here at the heel until I run out of the black, and then I'll change back to the Regia stripy yarn. I think I'll probably have enough for an okay sized pair. I have more black on one ball than the other, so this could be the cuff. I don't know why I have more black on one than the other. It's maybe I did something funny when I knit hers. Yeah, so for Christmas I made, how many pairs? 6 pairs of socks for friends for Christmas, friends and family, and I'm just getting through the scraps. But my husband really loves his socks, and he actually wears them. He doesn't wear them with sneakers, but I think he wears them often when he comes home from work and stuff. He'll take off his shoes and socks and put on his knitted socks, and I think if I knit him more, he'll wear them more regularly, because I think he just doesn't want to wear them out. But my parents, they're the kind of people that will save it for good, and I wish they didn't, but it's their stuff, so they can do what they like with it, and there you go. So here's all the socks I've knit this year so far. These were the first pair, and these were the only ones that weren't made out of scraps. This is a sparkly, can you see the sparkle? Bit hard to see. Sparkly Tumac Valley Yarns yarn. Then I made these, which were scraps from my dad's socks, also Regia, but these match all the way up to the top, and then they don't match. Then there was these, little bit of an end there. It's woven in, so I can just cut it off. Then these, and then these. So yeah, I'm really working hard on these because I want to finish them today, because as we know, today is the last day of the month. So if I want to get them in the competition, they have to be finished today. So, other works in progress. I'll show you my husband's jumper, even though it just looks like a tube, because that's what it is. It's a pretty boring pattern. So here it is. I can stop anywhere in the round and it doesn't make a difference. Yep, that's all. I reckon it'll fit him. I was a bit worried at first, but now that it's long enough, I can pull it out and see that it's going to be wide enough. He's not a huge man. He's slim like me. Yeah, so I think that'll be fine. The pattern has you, I'll show you the side. The pattern has you increase twice up to 25 centimeters. And you can see my increases there. Whoop. Hard to do this in reverse. There. And where this stitch marker is. And then knit straight for another 25 centimeters. So I have to have double this length above the stitch marker as well. So it's just taking forever. I'm up to my 4th ball, I think. It's I always forget what yarn this is, but it's like 70% merino, 30% alpaca. So I don't think it'll stretch too much because of the merino content. This little stitch marker I got from Andrea for a Christmas present, Andrea of Wonderwool Podcast. She's another Canberra podcaster, and we'll be hanging out in a couple of weeks, I think. And this one too, which has Made with Love. And I love this one. I don't know, just love it. I like little stitch markers. So there you go. Not very interesting, is it? But I haven't been working on it terribly much because of the socks. But my husband's birthday is the 2nd of March, so I pretty much have to do it next month, February. I have to do it in February, or else it won't get to him. Excuse me. Another work in progress, and you have seen this, but it was a long time ago, and I'm ashamed to say it's still not finished. This is that jumper that is taunting me, and I'll tell you, I had a bit of a knitting attack with this jumper while I was at the beach, which is why I've got yarn everywhere, because I had to undo some. So here it is, and it's lovely. It doesn't look big enough, but it'll block out. Look at that lovely stitch pattern. It is just so nice, and the yarn is so pretty. This is 100% alpaca, and I bought it at a market from a farmer who had sent away her alpaca, got it spun, and dyed it herself. So I can't remember what the farm was called. One Tree Hill, I think. One Tree Hill alpacas. They mostly do breeding and stuff. So anyway, there's a 20-row pattern, repeat, and every even row is plain knitting, and every odd row is the cabling and the lace. So I was up to 17, and I did 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And on the 3rd row, I started knitting and I realized I don't have enough stitches. And I realized that on row 1, I had misread one of the symbols, because it's been so long since I knit on this. I misread one of the symbols. I thought it was a central double decrease, and it was not. It was a 1/2 cable. So I was down a bunch of stitches, and I had to rip back. I tinked back, I didn't rip back. I didn't just frog it, I carefully undid every stitch, so I had to undo row 2 and all of row 1, and I got so cross with myself I didn't pick it up again. So I'm mainly worried because it's kind of short, right? That's not even belly button length, or it is just belly button length if I do the arms now, and that's not long enough for me, and I'm going to have to do another whole repeat, and it's so hard, and I don't know if I've got enough yarn. I've done the sleeves, they're done, they're ready to go. I think they're just about long enough. Let's see. Well, yeah, they're long enough. I mean, I know alpaca stretches, so I don't want to make them, I want to make them on the short side, so that they can have room to grow. So they're done. I don't have to do them anymore, but the yarn I've got left, I've got 1, 2.5 cakes left. Let me show you this little chart. So I think that was the 1, 1, 1, 1 right cross, and I got it confused with a central sort of decrease kind of cable. So that's annoying. I'm a bit down about it because I just want to get it done. I've decided that I'm not going to cast on any other garment for myself until I've done that. So yeah. So we'll see how far I get with that. So that's all I have for knitting. Been doing quite a bit because, you know, I've been away. I got something in the mail yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, which was a funny day to get mail because it's a Saturday. And I had ordered a bunch of blank yarn for dyeing from Knit Picks. Knit Picks is the cheapest yarn I can find to dye with, and I really like it. It's extremely soft and beautiful, so I don't know if other dyers get it from somewhere else cheaper or what. So that's what I'm sticking with for the time being. And they ship free to Australia if you buy more than $50 worth, so that's easy. And I also bought some acid dyes from them, some of their greener shades acid dyes. Excuse me. And I haven't started dyeing with them yet. I'm still using up my food dye, but I'll get onto that sometime. And I also bought a skein of their sock yarn in Chroma fingering, which is 70% wool, 30% nylon, and it's a single ply, which is a bit different for me. I've never used a single ply, and it's a cool gradient, so you can see it starts purple, goes round to blue to dark purple. Underneath I can see some pink poking out, so I'm excited to knit this and kind of get a surprise when I knit with it. I've seen some pretty cool projects on Ravelry. I look up the colorways, like I'm a massive nerd. I look up all of the colorways and all of the projects on Ravelry. So I go, oh, I match. So that is something I bought, and yeah, and the yarn dyeing stuff and the yarn. So I'm very excited about opening my shop tomorrow. Today I think I've got it, or tomorrow I've got to go and get some paper and make some labels for the yarn so that you know what you're knitting with. Yeah, so that's pretty much all of my updates, and I'll tell you a little bit about the week I had. Last time I recorded, it was Friday last week, because then we drove down to the coast. My husband's family has a house in a small town there, and it's a very old house. They built it in the 50s, I think. And we stay there. It's a basic sort of house, but really lovely. And I swam every day that we were down there. I swam all 6 days at the beach, and I've never done that before, which was super cool. And I had bought a ugly Christmas rashie, and a rashie is a rash shirt. which is a sun-protecting garment that you swim in. It's like a skivvy that you swim in. And I'd ordered one because in Australia at Christmas it's hot and you go to the beach and you swim. And in the Northern Hemisphere it's cold and you get ugly Christmas sweaters. So I ordered this ugly Christmas rashie a long time ago and it was on back order and everything. So I didn't get it for Christmas, but I got it the very day that we were going down the coast. So I'll put in a photo of me in it. And this stopped me from getting sunburnt. Like, sun protection is really serious business here. We have a big old hole in the ozone layer above us, so you've got to be really careful. And especially little kids at the beach, you see that they're completely covered up. They've got hats, sunglasses, full-length rashies, board shorts, and are covered in sunscreen, which is great. And as a result, my arms and neck and body did not get sunburned. I did get a little bit sunburnt on my legs. It was cloudy and a little bit rainy the whole time we were there. We even swam a little bit in the rain, which was fine. Like, the water temperature doesn't change. And you're wet anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the last day we were there, the day we were leaving, it was sunny and hot, and we went down the beach and had a swim and then sat down on the beach to dry a bit. And in that short time, my legs got sunburnt and I was mortified and very embarrassed because that doesn't happen, that shouldn't happen to me. So that was a bit uncomfortable. I also got a little bit up on, see here? See, that's a little bit more sunburnt. That's just where I put sunscreen on my face. That's just where it didn't quite reach. So that was a bit embarrassing. I shouldn't do that. I'm really quite embarrassed. Anyway, so we were there for 6 days or something like that. And swam every day. I was feeling really good. And my tummy wasn't hurting really much at all. With all that exercise and moving, it was really great. Then I came home on Thursday, went to work on Friday, had meetings and stuff, and then yesterday I was in a lot of pain again. And I don't quite get it. I don't quite know what's going on with my tummy pain. I think maybe our couch is bad for me. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I wasn't sitting down much yesterday. I was doing all this yarn dyeing and standing up and winding skeins and doing all this stuff. And I was in a lot of pain, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, never mind. Next week, starting tomorrow, firstly I'm opening my shop and also opening our knit along. So get started on that. Better join in a new yarn here. I'm out of this yarn. I'll do my old trick. School starts next week, but I'm not teaching next week. I decided I won't start until week 2 because week 1 students are still sort of getting used to everything and settling in. So I thought I'd start in week 2. And this coming week I'm not doing anything much. I've got a few medical appointments and things to do. And I think, that's about it. I'm very behind on everyone's podcasts because, like I said, I've been away and we don't really have internet down the coast, so we have to use our phone's 4G connection. And that means you go through a lot of data and credit, and so you just end up not, which is really good for the brain, I think, to disconnect for a little while. So I've got a lot to catch up on and get involved with. So anyhow, I think that's about all I had to say, a lot of stuff, but yeah. So have a really nice week. I'll talk to you on next Sunday probably. And yeah, check out my Etsy shop tomorrow. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.